What's going on, guys? Per Wings 19, and today I want to talk about my pregnancy because my daughter is going to be a year old soon. October 5th, she will be a year old. I want to talk about the things that happened while I was pregnant and the things that happened during me giving birth and stuff like that, leading up to it and all that, because it was a lot. Let me tell you. I know that most women talk about how pregnancy is so beautiful and so happy all the time and blah, 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 and so wonderful. For me, it wasn't. Like, it was pretty easy, but it wasn't at the same time. Like, there's stuff that I didn't even know about, like, that happens to you. Nobody told me. I didn't ever see it on YouTube or anything like that. And that's kind of the stuff I want to talk about right now, is the stuff that you might not know about. Okay, so I guess here we go. So one day I was feeling different. I believe it was in February of 2017. I was like, I'm gonna take a pregnancy test. So I took a test, and lo and behold, it was positive. We're gonna have a baby, and I was super excited, but also very, very scared at the same time. I wanted to make sure from a doctor, yes, you're pregnant, yes, we could see the baby, blah, blah, blah. So I got an appointment with like a regular women's doctor. They were super concerned about doing a pap smear, like, so they propped me up, whatever. They tried to do it, and they're all like, we can't do this, you're too big. After that, they set me up an appointment with my OB. Once I saw her, I fell in love with her. She's super nice, super cool, and she kept it so real with me. So once I started seeing her, things got different. Before I even saw her, my mindset totally changed. Like, once I went to my first doctor appointment, I knew that I was going to do everything I can to lose weight, get healthy for my baby. I wanted my baby to have the best chance at surviving, that I was willing to do anything. So that day I found out I was pregnant. That's when everything changed for me, mentally, and like with the stuff that I ate. It's crazy how being pregnant changed so much of yourself, in a good way for me. Some people change in a bad way, but it was good for me. Anyway, so I immediately went on a diet, started exercising more, like pretty much just walking around more. I'm not sure if most of you know, but we have a like a mini series, I guess you could call it, on a YouTube channel called Barcroft TV. And they actually filmed me getting my very first sonogram and getting to see our baby for the first time. And I believe that was April 23rd or 24th. It was April 24th, 2017. I was so incredibly happy. Like, as soon as I saw our baby on the monitor screen, like, I just started crying. She was just like bouncing around in there. It was so cute. It looked like she was, it looked like she was waving. We didn't know at the time she was a girl. But they measured her and estimated that I was about, I believe, 10 weeks pregnant. And at that time, like, I didn't have like morning sickness or anything like that. I wasn't experiencing none of that. But anyway, getting to see her was super, super exciting. Anyway, a couple months go by, and you know, I think that I feel the baby, and we still don't know if it's a girl or a boy, but some things started happening, like, to my body. I developed gestational diabetes, so I had to be put on insulin, which was a big change for me because I've never dealt with anything like that. So I was having to give myself shots every day and check my sugar every day, like multiple times a day. It sucked bad. Like, just the needles, like, they're not very big needles, they're tiny needles, but still, it still hurts getting poked like 3, 4, 5, 6 times a day. You know, and every time you eat, you have to check your sugar and blah blah. It was just a pain in the butt. Some other weird things that were happening to me, this is going to be a little TMI. So if you don't want to know about my personal body issues, then you might want to click away now. But for me, my nipples got so dark, like really dark, and probably like this dark. It was very, very weird. My nipples were hurting. I never really produced milk, even after my baby was born, which I'll talk about that in a minute. But yeah, and then I started getting tiny little skin tags on my nipples, like on my, what are they called, areolas, I think. Tiny ones, like maybe like a little bit bigger than a pin dot, but there was like 4 on one areola, and like it was just gross to me. But like, I've never heard of anyone having that. And then I brought it up to my OB. She's like, yeah, that some women get that, it's normal, it'll go away after you give birth. So I was like, okay, I'll just deal with it. A couple months go by and I start to feel the baby, and I feel fluttering and stuff like that, and it's just so cute. Like, once you can feel your baby, you just know that it's crazy, because you have a little being growing in you, like inside you. And in my mind, I was just like, okay, I gotta do everything I can to take care of myself to make it the best possible living situations for my baby. So that's what I did. And I went from 530 pounds, 535 before I got pregnant, to, well, like right before I got pregnant, to by the time I gave birth, I was 465. So I lost quite a bit of weight, which is, it was healthy, don't worry. A lot of people say, oh, it's not healthy to lose weight while you're pregnant, but for me, in my situation, it was healthy. I was doing everything the right way. It may not be the same for you, so you just have to talk with your doctor and your OB and find out what fits for you. But anyway, I think it was August 1st. I had my baby shower. And that is when I found out if I was having a girl or a boy. And we picked the theme Star Wars because, well, me and Sid are nerds. And so if it was a girl, the colors would be blue. And if it was a boy, they were going to be red. Okay, my battery got too hot. So I actually have it on one of my other vlogs about my baby shower. So I'll link that video down in the description. You can check it out if you want to see my reaction and stuff like that. So, okay, after the baby shower, that was in August, the beginning of August. At the end of August, I was still losing weight. I started to have really, really bad, well, actually, back up. In June, I started having really, really, really bad pelvic pain. It pretty much felt like my bones down there by my vagina were trying to get ripped apart. Your body sends like hormones or something to loosen those ligaments down there to prepare your body for the baby to descend or something like that. And it was bad for me, like really bad. Some days, like, I could barely walk. It would hurt to bend over. It would hurt to like sit down. It would hurt to roll over in bed. Any type of movement that had to do with your legs or your hips, it hurt so bad. And I told my OB about it, and she's like, yeah, you're just gonna have to deal with that. I mean, that's, you know, That's common. It's normal. You just have to deal with it. Take Tylenol. I was like, okay, this sucks. You know, because I'm supposed to be exercising and stuff, and I kind of can't do that with this pain. But I had to just work through it and get stuff done. Now going back to the end of August, I actually had to start using my cane. I had to use a cane to walk around because I had to lean on something. Just so because sometimes like it would feel like my legs would want to give out, because the pain was so bad, from that pelvic ligaments. So yeah, that was kind of embarrassing, but whatever. I did it, and yeah. Another thing is pretty gross that I never knew about was hemorrhoids. So I got a hemorrhoid while being pregnant. Now, I've never had a hemorrhoid. Didn't even know what they were until I got pregnant. Anyway, fast forward to my birthday, September 19th of 2017. I start feeling not so great. I noticed that my blood pressure is, because I do have high blood pressure regularly, like even without being pregnant. And my blood pressure, my medication was not working well. It just wasn't controlling it like it should. Fast forward to October. I started swelling up. I was scared to go to the doctor because I was scared to go to the hospital because I knew that it was too early for the baby to come. At this point, my due date was November 22nd, I think, or 21st. Something like that. It was November 20 something. I think it was the 21st. And I knew that if something was wrong, like, this is too soon, you know. I don't know what I was thinking. I was just scared. And when I say it, like, it was high, it was like 205 over like 130. Like, that was high. And I now know that that was dangerous for me and for the baby. Like, I don't know. I was stupid. I should have went to the doctor sooner, but I did what I did. October 3rd, I had gained 15 to 20 pounds in water weight in one night. My hands were swollen, my legs were swollen, my ankles, my feet. I was just swollen everywhere. And I was like, what is going on? Let's go to the hospital right now. Something's wrong. So we had to wait like 2 hours before being seen. And I was trying to tell them, like, you know, something's really wrong. And they were like, okay, there's other priority people, like women that are in labor right this second. And you're not. And I was like, okay. Finally get back to a room, like the triage room or whatever it's called. And they check me out. They're like, okay, you're showing signs of preeclampsia. This is preeclampsia. And I was like, okay, so what exactly does that mean? I mean, I knew kind of what it was, but I didn't know how serious it could be. I spent like a day in the hospital. They put me on something called Magnesium, and oh my God, this stuff makes you incredibly hot. It was just scary. I was so scared. My mom was there. Sid was scared. I was freaking out because I thought that they were gonna, you know, want to deliver me soon, blah, blah. Because at this point, they still didn't tell me, like, whether they were going to take the baby or not. They were going to try to just see if my blood pressure would come down and the swelling, the water would subside or whatever. You know, if they could get control of the preeclampsia. And that never happened. Going into the 5th, I was showing signs of eclampsia, which is preeclampsia, but the actual eclampsia part. And what happens at that point is you can start having seizures, your organs can start shutting down, and you could die. So they said it's too risky to induce labor and do a natural birth, or like, you know, give birth normally. So they said they're going to have to do an emergency C-section. And I was freaking out because I've never had surgery. That is one of my biggest fears. That's my second top fear, is to have surgery. And I was so scared. You know, like, they said, like, you can choose one person to go back with you. They were debating on if they wanted me, to be awake or, you know, be under, and they said it's safer if I'm awake. I was just scared. I was so scared. But, I was begging my mom. I was like, Mom, I want you to go with me. I want you to go with me.